Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of GeekCypha, fresh off of our 400-plus episode celebration that we did at Colours.
Thank you for having us, Colours. It was great fun.
Yeah, big shout outs to Colours. Those guys held us down.
It's a great time. Thank you for everyone who came out. Y'all, we appreciate y'all.
Hold on, you're low for some reason.
I'm low. Is this better?
Also, just project, buddy.
Okay, I mean project. This is how I always talk.
No, because it wasn't even registering you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. Well, anyways, thank you to Colours, and thank you for everyone who came out.
He didn't actually mean the thank you. That's what that was.
Oh,
you monster!
Get out of here. You know he's just playing around with the electronics just to do this. Ryan's always had it out for me.
No, I fixed it because I know I'm louder than you, so I usually have myself at a 6 and you at a 7, and I have you at a 7.5.
Well, then I mean that's where I get
my
deep voice.
Are you saving your voice for when the kid comes?
Of course.
Yeah.
Can't hit him like we used to. We gotta yell at him, right? So
no. You gotta do that pinch, shoulder pinch.
Vulcan death grip.
Yeah, you gotta do a Vulcan death grip.
Jesus.
We'll do the atomic wedgie.
You ever see that meme of it's I think Kermit
to your own kid?
If he deserved it. Sorry, go on. Then Wendell.
You ever see that image of was it Kermit the Frog and his nephew Robin is next to him, but the way Robin's neck looks, it's all weird. It's always like very his shoulders very much into his head, and then like the caption will always say like when your mom's with you out in public, but she can't beat you like she used to, so she pinches the crap out of your shoulder, and you're just like,
That's funny. That's hilarious. But no, I hope to raise a civil child.
I'm sure
he forces me not to. But yeah, should be fun.
Yeah.
So how did you
people raise pretty well-adjusted kids and stuff?
How did you guys feel about the event? Because I thought the event
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very nice turnout. I'm very happy that we got to see some got to meet some new friends. Got to see some old ones I hadn't seen in a little while. Shouts to Lee J. Shouts to K. Hadn't seen them in a while.
Yo, Lee J came through. Shout outs to Lee J for sure. And
day one, first one.
Always.
Exactly.
And showed up. And if am I wrong? He had dreads when he walked in?
When he walked in. And he was
fade when he walked out.
Exactly. Yep. He walked straight out. Like I was there. I'm like, that is bold, sir.
Like I know we talked about free haircuts. I didn't think the free haircut would be him shaving his dreads.
Still though, that's commitment.
That's what Grimes.
Yeah.
2000.
It was crazy though, but good for him. I mean, the dreads look good and the fade looks good. So either way, he came out looking fresh. So I'm happy for him. As long as it's what he wanted. I hope he didn't feel the pressure of like, I've been a supporter since day one. I came in, I got to get a haircut so that these people feel like the free haircuts are a thing that people want.
I mean there was a few that went in, and Chowd called those who worked pro bono
barbers.
Thank you very much.
They were cutting hair after 7 p.m.
Yeah,
the event was supposed to be over, and they were still cutting people's hair. So big shout out to them. I really definitely appreciate those guys for holding us down.
Shout out to friend of the podcast, Proto-Man, for coming out.
Yes,
Proto-Man came through, gave us some little. Was I one of the ones who got a gift?
No, I got.
That was a birthday gift for me because I know my birthday is coming up, so I didn't know if he gave that to me as a birthday gift.
No, he had gone to Japan and like close friends. He got little stuff. Little.
Oh, jeez,
I feel special.
Look at this guy over here.
What? I don't always feel special. Give me a break. What do you want me to shake?
Especially when your friends are trying to, and you're like, nah, I don't want a birthday party.
Never. If it's well, hold on. Do I know and you're planning the party?
We're asking you, hey, are we doing like, hey, we're gonna be like, do you want to do something? And you're like,
Nah, you're right. I was about to pretend like I'd be okay. No, either way, I don't want to party. I was like, if it's a surprise, I don't want it for sure. If it's planned with me involved, I still don't want it for sure.
you're like, yeah, and then you know when not to be available.
That's why people want to do a surprise for me, which is the scary part, because they know I won't want to do just a regular party. So either way, I have to avoid.
Unless it's on this show, Brian doesn't want that spotlight.
Yeah, facts. No,
you guys didn't do anything for my birthday because you don't want us to do anything for.
I've never complained that you guys didn't do anything for my birthday. Remember when we realized at his wedding? When we realized at his wedding, at Dave's wedding, that my 40th birthday had passed.
Yeah.
And you guys were all just like, wait, your 40th? And I was just like, yeah. And you guys were just like, what the hell, man? Why didn't you tell anybody? And I was just like, I didn't want to tell nobody. Because I'm a weirdo.
Yeah,
And by the way,
my part.
happy wedding anniversary, Dave.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man.
That's very true. It happened 2 days ago, or 2 days ago. Happy.
25th.
Or yesterday.
Yeah,
I thought it was
we're the 20. We're the
20
25th today.
Yeah. And your wedding anniversary is what?
I mean, it depends on how you see it. It's either the day of the party, or technically we had a small like in church thing, so we didn't have to have. So we say
Wait, what was the thing we went to where you got married at the golf course?
that was technically like us being like in front of everyone, but technically we went to like a church a few days before.
So I will say happy anniversary.
I don't remember.
Wedding.
Well, no,
Yeah,
a lot of
the
people.
anniversary of the fake wedding that we were invited to.
Well, no, it's because
that was fun.
that's when we're welcomed.
well, no, it's because
I know,
it was super hot during that time. So
Yeah.
it's like we didn't want everyone to be cooped up into a church because we all know how it is. We've all been there where it's like you're there and you're
that's
just
fair.
sweating through everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because and even when we were talking to our priest, he's like, this is actually a lot more common than you expect because technically we have to do it in a church. So a lot of people will do this so that when I do it the second time, which is just as joyful,
Mhm.
I'll make it more entertaining. But
Question: why do you have to do it in a church?
for them, it's you have to do it technically on like religious ground, if you will.
Oh boy.
Type thing.
Okay. No, I didn't say anything. I said, "Oh boy."
Yeah, that's
Oh
him now.
boy.
But
Look at him trying to change, trying to pivot.
Get out
All
of
I
here.
did was pull a
Get out
camera.
of here.
Yeah,
You're digging. There's this term called "dig up stupid."
man.
Also from The Simpsons.
All I said was, "Oh boy."
Brian trying to be like Kirk Franklin. I'm doing it for my boy. I'm doing it for my boy.
Ever
Exactly.
since you've had that jungle juice, you've been different.
To jungle juice. I made jungle juice at the party, and I have so much jungle juice left over because we still had a bottle of Bacardi and a bottle of vodka.
It's
So
Bacardi
yesterday-
Gold, right?
I don't remember which one.
I know it was a gold amber. It's like amber.
Yesterday, I made more jungle juice and just had people come through by my place and gave away a bunch of the Coronas because I had like a bunch of Coronas left over. By the way, you can take the Sapporos with you, please. Thank God. Okay, because there's just no
come by
place.
and take some Sapporos.
Oh, okay, well then we'll save you some too.
Pass them to him. Pass them to him.
How much is it though? Whoa,
I'm trying to remove.
That's it. That's what I was gonna say.
It's at most a 12. It's at most a 12.
No, thankfully it's only 6. It's only 6
Okay,
because
I could
we.
take 3. I could be.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all split it. Y'all split it.
Split it.
I just gotta make sure to bring that.
Your cooler.
My coolers.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's not important.
Guys, you're listening to the aftermath of an event. This is how we did a crazy party. We had a bunch of fun. We had people playing dominoes. We had people throwing dice. We had people playing cards. We had music playing. We had haircuts going on. We had jungle juice. We had chips. We had pizza. It really was a fun event. So big, once again, thank you to the people at Colours. Shout outs to Greg specifically, one of the big bosses over there who holds it down and has worked with us. We definitely very much appreciate his time and him allowing us to use the space. So, and shout outs to Ness for organizing a lion's share of the event with the coordinating with the space and whatnot. And shout outs to all y'all. Like, we've been doing this for so long, and 400 episodes is such a fun milestone. And thank you to all the people that came out. Because like you're saying, Proto Man came out. I had my brother come out. My cousins come out. I had my friends who worked with me back when I was at CJLO. I had my friends who've worked with me at C2 Montreal. I've had like all these people showed up. So, I really
did from work on my end.
Right.
Oh, and Lee J answered also like he wanted to get his haircut because he has so much hats. He can't
oh
wear
yeah,
hats.
true. He did say
he can't wear his fitteds with his dreads. So he's gotta
dude. I'm on the same boat. There's times where I want to get rid of this hair again. As much as I like the look, I'm just like, I miss kind of wearing my hats. So
it's because you have to buy your hats at a point in time where you're like, this is more likely than not the size of my head with hair that I'm going to deal with.
I never grow my hair out though. I've had my hair faded and short wearing caps for 20 something years. Yeah. So it was what I was at, I wasn't really gonna. The only reason I grew out my hair was for specific reasons. It ended up looking decent. I'm not mad at it. Once again, Greg from Colours does this. So the only thing that sucks is he's now away, and I need to get a cut before Comic-Con.
Oh.
So I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to message him and be like, yo, who else you trust at the shop just to line me up? Because I'm helping somebody out at Comic-Con at the press conference, the morning junket on the first day.
Oh, crazy.
So I'm like, oh crap! I have
Didn't
to.
they
Look
just announce that Todd
McFarlane,
McFarlane's going to be there digitally?
but only virtually. Yeah, that
Virtually,
was the only little disappointment when I saw Todd McFarlane come. I was like, oh, that's great. And then I saw virtually. I was like, oh, that's nope. I don't want to go to a virtual big
No.
screen room. Like,
What does that mean? Like, you know what I mean? In regards to someone going to a Comic-Con, you're like, so why would you pay a ticket for that? Like, why would I just not want to stream to whatever you're like, you know what I mean? I find that off.
I guess he's there live, but like he's Skyping in or whichever, app they're using to talk to him. And there's probably some kind of.
I know that New York Comic Con does a thing where you can get tickets to their virtual side, where a lot of the panels will be virtual, and if they have virtual guests, you get access to those. So you don't get to go to the event, but you still get to see those panels.
That's pretty cool.
And I always thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
and if Montreal Comic Con wants to start doing that and selling tickets for that at a much cheaper, because what would you pay to virtually go to Comic Con just to watch the main room panels?
See, that's really dependent on who's there, right? Because if it's people I don't care about, the answers I don't want to pay.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
So let's frame it as people you want to see.
I mean, if it was enough, somewhere between 20 to like $80 at most, but 80 would be like, I could submit a question. He or the person, I should say, because however they identify they would answer my question. Like, you know what I mean?
You're hoping for guaranteed answered.
I'm saying, like, if I was guaranteed that I could write a question and them answer it, I would pay a premium price for that. Yes.
Okay, so you're creating a tier system already. Because when you said $20, I was just like, $20 is exactly what I would pay for a virtual panel type thing where I can just watch the panels. Submitting a question and having a guaranteed answer, I would definitely charge. If I was them, I would charge upwards of like $50, $60.
But I only even say 20 because I watched once, like during when it was COVID and we were stuck at home, the Hives once did like a recording where you got like access for like 3 nights where they just performed live in a secluded area.
The who, sorry?
The Hives. They're I think I want to say New Zealand.
Oh, cool.
Band. I'm sorry if that's not their background country. But they played it live and I was like, well, I love this band and I didn't get to see them live, and they played like a significant portion of their set. So I'm like, okay, like $20 for this is fine, but like I don't think I'd pay that now unless they said we aren't touring anymore. This is the only way you can digest, or it was like, we're doing a tour. If you cannot make it to this tour, we are streaming like the last show so that everyone can see us. That would be something maybe I'd do, but like now, why like I would just
COVID's
put my album.
Well, I mean, COVID isn't as bad. So I know that was a big thing during COVID. I remember Korn did one and Our Lady Peace. That was it. But the Our Lady Peace one the stream was busted.
Yeah, I'm happy. I missed that one, and then I read about it. I'm like,
It's incredible when what you're describing, because it makes me think of like when the Beatles performed that last time on the rooftop of the studio. Like how crazy it would have been to be like, for anyone who wants to watch this live stream.
And just
kind of like a break the internet situation.
Just to correct myself and to give respect, they are a Swedish garage punk band. Sorry, not New Zealand.
Swedish. Wow, you're really far off.
I'm horrible. I am horrible at geography.
wait. Did you?
The only thing I know is Iceland is green and Greenland is ice. That's the only thing I got.
I don't want to say you're horrible
because of Mighty Ducks 2.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want to say I know that. I don't think I want to say you're horrible at geography.
I am though.
It's not, you didn't think Sweden was where they were from. You mistook where they were from. It wasn't that you thought the country they were from was in a different part of the world.
I think the thing I was imagining based off of how they looked and whatnot was a certain place, and then when I read it, I immediately knew, oh no, I mixed them up. So no, I am saying purely it's because of the fact I'm horrible at geography. That's like seeing a Canadian flag and be like, the U.S. Like, no, I said one. I am more than happy to admit that this is a problem of mine.
That is so funny. I really thought you just like, I made a mistake. New Zealand, Sweden, okay. And then instead you're just like, no, I pictured where they were from and thought that was in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That's fantastic. That was great. Okay. Man, Jaws, we're going to let you go first because we're still hoping that Skinny will come through so we can talk about Ironheart in a little bit. But is there anything you want to mention? Like anyone, let me frame. Because I know that some of the people that showed up to the party were also people that used to work with you guys. Because I know Skinny saw some people that came through that used to work with you guys. Mm-hmm. Did anyone else come through that worked with you guys back in the day? Cinecite and
yeah, there was a guy named Dan that came through. He knows Skinny, he knows me, and we all at some point used to work together at both places in our in the VFX industry. So that was pretty cool that he came through.
The reason I brought that up is because I really did want to do a separate thank you to the people that came from my work, because like a bunch of people came from my work. They're all really great. Like they're like on different teams around the company, but they're all good friends. And I like that they came and brought friends with them. Nice. So shout outs to Yolanda, Nez, and Kemi and their whole crew. Because I'll be honest, I was a little nervous about how many people were going to come through, but we ended up having like 60 people, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So 60 people throughout the evening or late afternoon. And I'm happy we had enough food. Mm-hmm. I was worried like about food at one point. I was worried we were going to have too much. And then by the end, the fact that there was only one pizza left and that barbers, we pretty much gave the barbers at the end of the night just like a ton of stuff because we wanted to thank them. But I don't know if I don't think they wanted to take like money and stuff. So,
okay.
So stuff like that, man. Anyways, so I just wanted to give them, a special shout out. And and I don't know if you guys had this question, but I had a bunch of people asking me when's the next one, which I didn't think people would be that excited about another one that soon. But know that we are hoping and planning to do another one. I kind of thought we would wait to do another one later, but if it is possible for us to do another one in the summer before the end, I was thinking maybe the Labor Day weekend, but this is a theoretical thing. It is not in stone. I don't know what everyone's schedule is going to be. One of us here on the screen is going to be a papa by that point.
Yeah,
and might be a little busy taking care of a young one, having a little bouncing bundle of joy on their knee, kind of panicking.
He's just remembering how he was as a kid. He's like, oh boy.
The horror.
So that's kind of like, I'm just trying to make sure.
Like I said before, one of my coworkers, Jeff, came through, and me, him, Proto Man, and Proto Man's wife were all chopping it up.
Yeah, dope.
Like that. So that was really fun.
Yeah, I saw. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering why Jaws wasn't outside, Jaws was holding us down at the door, still collecting donations for people who came through. I did offer to switch places with him. And he said straight to my face, "Hey man, my people are here." And I was like, "Oh, say less, say less." Your people were there. You were happy. I was like, "All good. I'm happy you were."
I did hear that Lige destroyed at Domino's.
Jaws? Jaws?
Proto Man came back like, "Man, Lige destroyed us all." I was like, "Whoa!"
The fact that so. Yes, I haven't played dominoes religiously, but I do play dominoes pretty often, like digitally. Like I play on my phone, and I don't pussyfoot. I set it to hard mode. And every man for himself, hard mode, and I've held my own.
Right.
And then you play against Lige, and Lige's out here running the ones. And the worst part was there was one point where I made a mistake.
Ooh.
I put down a tile, and as soon as I put it down, I said, "Oh no, that was a mistake. That was a mistake." And Lige just pounced on the mistake, and then had the last domino, and I'm sitting there like, and then that's what he put it down, and I slammed my hand and got up. So for those of you who saw me get slightly agitated, understand that Jungle Juice may have been a factor in that reaction.
I would say don't feel too bad.
I know he's very good at it. So
don't feel too bad because Lige told me the lore, and the lore is that his dad used to win tournaments, and his dad would take him to the tournaments, and so he would watch his dad play, and he'd catch all the strategies, and he just counts in his head and stuff, and he's like, okay, oh, that's a mistake.
Yeah,
stabby stab.
Damn you, Lee J! No, but that was great. Honestly, Lee J held it down. And also, thank you to Lee J for bringing the domino. I brought my own set, but he brought like a real set, which was nice. And it was fun to sit down and play dominoes Wager style because it was like Lee J, Proto Man, and me sitting at the table with Greg's brother. My apologies, I don't remember his name right now. And he was just like, yo, how do you play? And then he almost won one of the hands. We're like, oh, don't pretend like you didn't know how to play. People who come to the table and are like, how do you play? And then all of a sudden start like, they have like one tile in their hand. You're like,
I genuinely don't know how to play that game.
I think I described it as best I could. You have 28 dominoes on the table. They run 0-0 to 6-6. And every a variation in between. Each person gets 7 tiles. 6-6 is start.
Okay.
And then you are trying to you're matching the number on the table.
Yeah.
Your goal is to get rid of all your tiles first. Get rid of all your tiles that have the lowest amount of pips on whatever you have left over, the little numbers that are on the tiles, or to have key. Key is when you have, let's say the board is all played and all the 5s and all the 1s have been played and they're at both ends and you have the last 1-5. That's key because you can play it on either side and there's no one else who has it at the table. If you are good enough to set up key, a lot of the times what people do is they slam key down because they won and they slam it so hard, like we told the story in high school, someone broke a table one time.
Jesus Murphy.
But sometimes like you slam key, people slam key so hard they like knock the table over. All this craziness.
The key being your last.
Yeah, it's your last tile. You have the last tile. The entire game is played out, and usually there's 7 of every number. So you would look at it and be like, okay, all the 5s have been played and all the 1s have been played. The last one left is a 1 and a 5. So I either can play on the 5 on this end or the 1 on this end, but no one else on the table can play. I have key. The game is locked.
Okay, it's because so
the game is locked.
You have the last 1 and the last 5 by
Yes.
having that specific tile.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the game is locked and you have the key.
So I was wondering why people were why the people were being so adamant about the slamming, but that's the thing. That's the slamming.
It's like sometimes you don't have to.
All of you screwed up.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Sometimes some people will have. You won't even have key if you have the last tile, like your last domino, and like you've played well, and you know you can play it. Sometimes people will slam just to be like, "Bong, done." But usually, key is the one where you really slam it because you're like, "I've locked this game, and I have the last one, and y'all are all fools in my domain." That's kind of how it feels.
In
sometimes.
my domain.
It's like playing Uno and you play the last card, but you're just more adamant about it.
Very forceful play. So
yes.
What about Crazy Eights? When you say Crazy Eights, how do you? What's the last when you
You're
put down
supposed
the
to.
last
You're supposed
card?
to. You're supposed to knock.
Yeah,
you're supposed to
knock or some type of
domino
enunciation that your acknowledgement.
Domino is also the same thing. Like if you have your last tile, you knock also.
Okay, you have to acknowledge.
Yeah,
it
you're
as
supposed to
well.
knock.
Okay, that might make it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Bong, little history for y'all. But once again, thank you. Anyways, we won't keep you guys waiting much longer. Jaws, you said you wanted to talk about a film that I actually, funny enough, it came out in 2022, but I only saw it maybe last year.
Right.
I don't know why I decided to watch it last year, but I liked it. So the Bad Guys, which has a sequel coming up.
I thought the sequel came out already.
Oh no, did it? Oops, sorry.
Hold on, Bad Guys 2. Let's check here real quick. 2025.
Okay.
No way.
August 1st. No, it's coming out soon.
Oh, okay. That's why. Okay, so I'm not crazy.
I actually enjoyed that movie as well. I watched it not too long ago as well.
Yeah. So I finally watched it yesterday.
Oh no, Anthony Ramos is back. There's some
he was fine.
No, I'm just because he's also in Ironheart, so I feel like he's gonna be taking over.
I was hoping Skinny was gonna be here because he remember the last episode.
Yes.
He really didn't like him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna let you start telling us about the Bad Guys. I'm gonna hit up Skinny real quick.
So the Bad Guys, 2022 animated movie from DreamWorks. So I think this movie and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish came out the same year, and they're like really top tier animated movies that came out that year. So this movie is about a team of heists. Like they're collectively called the Bad Guys. It consists of Mr. Wolf, who's played by Sam Rockwell, Mr. Snake, who's played by Mark Maron, someone you wouldn't suspect to be doing a kids movie.
I know.
Miss Tarantula, Aquafina, who is a bit in everything, and a lot of people have a little bit of Aquafina
exhaustion.
exhaustion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Shark, played by Craig Robinson.
Yeah.
You can't really tell it's Craig Robinson.
I know
because
he's doing a really.
He's doing other voices. So
I initially thought it was Ron Funches the first time because of kind of the way the voice was. Anyways,
high pitched.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Piranha is played by Anthony Ramos. And he's like, so Mr. Wolf is kind of like the leader of the group. He's charming. He's the wheelman. He's the pickpocketer of the gang. Mr. Snake is the safecracker and second in command, and also his Mr. Wolf's best friend. Aquafina is the hacker of the group, and she's kind of like the she can kind of hide anywhere kind of thing. Like you'll see her like just
stealth,
pitching
like
around
if
on
it
people's
was
backs and stuff like that. Mr. Shark is the Mr. Shark is the master of disguise, but he's a giant robot. Imagine King Shark dressing up as humans,
right?
And all the humans just say, yes, this is the person they say they are. So kind of like Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo will dress up as a woman.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, yes, madam, come over here this way. And he's like, you know?
One of the things I think I really like about this film is it really does feel like a D&D party with everyone having really good roles.
Yeah.
Because like the Aquafina stealth roles and the disguise roles for Shark feel crazy. Like what you're describing. It's like there's a full-grown shark.
Yeah.
And it's like he rolled a nat 20 on disguise, and he's just like, everyone's just like, oh yes, of course, that is a human being. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, sorry.
And there's also, just making double sure here, Professor Marmalade, played by Richard Adoy.
Yeah,
that right?
Yeah.
So one of the OG UK blurs out there and not caring. So he plays the one of the characters that's like, oh no, we have to give these guys a chance. Everyone that's bad can be good. Zazie Beetz is also in here. She plays Diane Foxington, who's the governor, and also there's also Alex Bornstein plays the Misty Luggins, who's the police chief. So if you don't know who Alex Bornstein is, that is Lois from Family Guy, and I think she's also in the Marvelous Miss Maisel as well.
Yes, and she's an OG Mad TV cast member.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you gonna spoil Zazie a little? Because I mean the movie's been out 3 years. I feel like you can spoil.
And then the last person is Canada's own Lily Singh. She plays the newscaster, the correspondent. So Tiffany Fluffett. So the thing with Diane Foxington, she's obviously a fox. Yeah. And one thing I thought was really cool about this movie, there's like little, if you're paying attention to the characters and the characterizations of people, you'll notice little interesting things here and there. Like Diane Foxington, she has like an eyebrow piercing. So you're kind of like, oh, okay, I guess that denounced that she's a little bit young in her job, and maybe there's something else to her, but no, she's the governor, whatever, don't pay attention to it. Same with Mr. Snake. The way he's dressed up, he has like a bucket hat, he has shades on, and he has a Hawaiian shirt. He very much looks like Hunter S. Thompson from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And he's a curmudgeon. He doesn't want to celebrate his birthday and stuff like that. But there's also like some really interesting gags where they're going through a heist and everything, and he's in a costume, and as he's sneaking around in the what do you call it again? The vents. Yeah. He sheds.
Oh yeah.
He literally sheds into his stealth costume. So he literally sheds his skin into a like black suit, and they're like, oh, that's pretty cool. So basically, this group they've been stealing for a while. They've been a crew for a long time, and they finally.
One of the things in the movie is the people know too. It's not like their crew is known for being criminals.
Oh yeah, no, the whole city is quote unquote scared of them throughout the whole movie
because they're all like predators, I guess.
Yes,
they're all scary animals.
Yeah.
Which is it kind of had a little bit of a Zootopia spin on that, where it's like you're a predator. The assumption is no matter what, you kind of seem like a bad guy because of that, which I thought was really interesting. To be honest, I like their spin on what predators can be almost more than Zootopia. No offense to Zootopia.
And but they're still in a world where there's humans. Like all the humans are humans, and these are just anthropomorphic animals
Yeah.
for just because. And so basically they did this big heist. They're expecting to get this big, all these bad guys, they're ruining our city. And basically the governor, Diane Foxington, kind of goads them. She says they're not that great, they're lame, they're on a decline. Like she basically goats them into doing something. So she purposely makes it personal for them.
Am I remembering also that they were trying to wean themselves off of the bad guy lifestyle?
No.
Well,
Not at all. Okay.
Wasn't the wolf one though?
No, not yet. It's only
Not at
when
this point.
they go for that heist. So there's like a some kind of gala where they're going to give this trophy to the nicest person in the city, and it turns out it is Professor Marmalade, who's a guinea pig.
Right.
And you find out in the beginning of the movie, Mr. Snape constantly talks about guinea pigs and how tasty they are, like they're a delicacy. And what's interesting is that the opening of that movie is I feel is an homage to what was it called again? Pulp Fiction.
Oh, Pulp Fiction. Oh,
so Pulp Fiction, when it starts in the diner, and then as they leave the diner, they hold up the diner. But in this case, they try to pay for their food, but everyone's afraid of them and they just don't want to do it.
Yes, I forgot that. Yeah.
So basically, Mr. Wolf gets into his head, you know what? We're gonna steal the trophy for the best person in the city award. And they're like, we got to be careful here because it sounds like you're making it personal. He's like, no, it's not personal at all. We're not making it. And so they plan it, and they also go through the history of people that try to steal this trophy, and they've always gotten caught. Or they talk about this person called the Crimson Paw.
Yeah.
And it sounded like they were going to steal it, but just never did, and then they disappeared forever. So there's a lot of Chekhov guns going off in this movie, which is pretty funny, which is really cool. They go to try to get it, and then something happens during the heist where Mr. Wolf gets told he's a good boy, and his tail starts wagging. So he starts having this, I've been called a good boy. I've never been called a good boy before, and it felt good to him. It felt nice in his stomach and in his tail. And so all of a sudden, that's where
the dog energy, right?
Yeah. And then that's where the change starts to happen, and that's where the story kind of picks up and begins. And they try to rob the trophy. They end up getting caught because of various things that happen. And then in order to get out of it, they Mr. Wolf, tries to charm his way into saying, hey, what if we became good guys? Professor Marmalade had this really nice speech about, anybody could become good. You should give us, we never got a chance. So it was all that kind of stuff going on. And then it's them trying to be good, but they're obviously going to do a switcheroo. But it also feels like there's some conflict within the crew and everything. And it's a pretty good movie. And then some revelations happen and everything like that. Again, I want to shout out to the animation crew, because there's like a lot of little details with the design of the characters. Like they go to jail and they have jail jumpsuits on. Something that I noticed was Mr. Shark, who's played by a black dude. His pants leg, he had one pants leg rolled up like in the 90s. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's okay. I see what you're doing there. Also with, I think in the second half of the movie, Mr. Wolf is dancing, and I'm fairly certain a lot of his dance moves are Sam Rockwell's dance moves.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah. From his different films and stuff.
Yeah, in different films where he's just doing his thing. So I'm very certain a lot of that's going on.
I feel some of the moves were taken from when he's walked onto example on the Tonight Show or whatever. He'd always dance to the stage or whatever when he'd enter, and I feel like some of that was definitely placed in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where I've seen an animation where they'll get a reference video, and they will kind of mimic that reference video, or they'll just film themselves doing that dance so they could get more of a 360 look of how that dance is done. They'll just basically record themselves, and that person becomes the key, a little bit of a key animation thing going on, basically. So there was a lot. There was also Mr. Shark. As they're falling from the sky, Mr. Shark swims closer to people. Like he's following this guy and he's trying to swim. And I thought that was pretty funny. As you're seeing here on the screen, we're showing the trailer.
Yeah, this is a trailer for the second film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just have it playing because I just wanted people to know, like you said, August 1st, it's coming out in like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be really cool. And the fact that the first one was, I don't know, it felt like the first one was a little bit of a sleeper hit because I feel like people didn't talk about it as much until after it was out. And then it was kind of like, oh, this was a great film, and it's not even just only for kids, which I think is one of the fun things.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it has enough innuendos, and it honestly follows the tropes of a lot of action movies.
Yeah,
like anyone who likes an action movie would have more than enough fun watching this, unless they were super offended to see something animated.
Well, I actually had an aunt who hated anthropomorphic creatures.
I mean, that's
always
exactly the I'm saying that's not for you. It's not for you.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh yeah, my aunt who randomly hated anthropomorphic animals on screen. No clue why.
So she hates Disney.
Yeah, she hated Disney.
She hates
Peter Pan. Robin Hood, is it, or Peter Pan?
I was gonna say
Robin Hood or Jungle Book.
It's the one where he's a fox.
Yes. She hates that.
That's like my favorite Disney movie.
She hates it.
I don't know. Jungle Book.
No, dude, I'm telling you, she didn't like
the bear.
Homie, she didn't like any of them. I remember talking to her about it one time, and I was just like, "Oh, and it has like a fox who talks." She's like, "No, I don't like that. I don't like anthropomorphic." I was like,
"Did she ever say it seems like?"
Did she say it like that?
Yeah, she legit had she added bass to her voice. I felt intimidated. I'm not gonna lie, but it was funny times.
But this movie was really good. I would definitely suggest seeing it. Lots of little.
You should see before the other one comes out on August 1st.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think so. I feel that there's been a lot of good animated movies, and we're not supporting them. We need to support them. We need to go see them day one.
Well,
it sends a message that they need to make more of these. Because if they're good, then they'll make more of the good ones, as opposed to more of the crap.
And I one of the things that I'm noticing in the industry is we don't get the kind of rom-com comedy type films like we used to in theaters.
No.
But when it comes to animation, they'll almost always give animation a theatrical chance.
Yeah, but that's because you're going to get kids in there, and therefore you also know that like the Disneys or the whoever's are making it are like also probably giving some type of incentives because they're also wanting to sell toys and stuff, right? Like,
yeah, I get that part. I'm just saying, you still like these movies, and like Jaws is saying, like you're saying, we want to give them a chance. We want them to do well. I'm just hoping that we can figure out a way to get that kind of energy for some of these live action things.
And I was also going to say, there's more than just Pixar, Disney, and Hayao Miyazaki movies. I'm trying to remember his animation Studio Ghibli that makes really good movies, because it sounds like, it seems like, or it is the fact that when the Academy does all this stuff, they only go for the things that like, oh, I know that brand name. Yeah, that gets it. That gets it. They don't even look at the. Like, it's sad that Wild Robot is an amazing movie, and that should have won something, but
because what DreamWorks, Sony Animation, there's a bunch of different studios.
There's a bunch of different ones. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey man, great tie-in for the upcoming summer. Shout outs to everybody. Hopefully you guys get a chance to go see it. Watch this one before you go see The Bad Guys 2. And
it's still on Netflix. It's going to be gone by June 30th.
Smart.
Netflix.
I wonder where it's going to end up. Wait, who made it? DreamWorks? I wonder who DreamWorks has a deal with. Because I know Sony has a deal. Like, I was watching earlier today the K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get to finish it before we started the pod, so I won't talk about it too much. But it's a Sony animation film, and it's really good. It's only on Netflix, sadly. This is the type of film where I think, again, you could have done a theatrical release for this one, because as much as it's a new IP, but the story is so cool.
I'm curious now.
Yeah, the story's really cool.
What's it called?
It's called K-pop Demon Hunters.
K-pop.
And the story is just that there are demons in the world, and the protective shield that protects humanity against the demons is from these three. There's always, every generation had these three singers who were warriors, but their voices unified the people. And that kind of energy created a shield. There's like a name for it, the Honin or something. Apologies if I'm saying that wrong. But that shield would protect against the demons. And if they could get the shield strong enough, it would turn into a gold Honin, because right now it's blue. When it's like whenever they do concerts, it like strengthens it back. But if you can get the gold one, that's like the strongest one. So you have to release like a song that's so powerful and gets all the people together that it creates this like beautiful gold one. And the film, you know, talks about that stuff and has like cool demons, and the way the demons decide to fight against because it's all about the fans connecting with the song. So then the demons, and this isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer, the demons decide to try and cut through the core of it, which is the fans. So they create a demon boy band. So there's a demon boy band that's like trying to steal the fans away from the K-pop girls.
Spice Girls versus
Backstreet Boys. Exactly.
Exactly what I was saying. Like I was like, it's Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC. Like, you know what I mean?
The Spice Girls was better.
There you go.
Because it very much is like gender.
They actually wrote a lot of their songs and did a lot of their own choreography. I did not know that.
The Backstreet Boys?
No, the Spice Girls.
Oh yes, the Spice Girls. Yes, that
I didn't know. I was like, what? They wrote all of? Whoa.
They wrote a lot of those songs,
even though they just kind of went through a process and got put together. Like they did a lot of their stuff.
Well, that was the thing, right? They were songwriters. Like some of them were. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that's hard about pop, right? When you become a pop star, there's kind of this assumption that
there's a team behind you, and
there's people writing your stuff and you're just recording. Like Celine Dion is great, but a lot of Celine Dion's songs don't count as Canadian content because it doesn't meet the Canadian content requirements per the CRTC. This is a little bit boring for people, but the regulations in Canada for what counts as Canadian content is specific, and you have to meet 2 out of the 4 requirements. And Celine Dion, a lot of her songs don't meet that because
she doesn't write them.
She doesn't write them. So she as the singer performer is one of the 4 requirements, but the other 3 are like you have to have written the music, written the song, performed the song in Canada originally, or it's produced by Canadians. Jeez. And a lot of her stuff was like produced in the States at one point in her career. American writers.
Like I think a good chunk of her songs is the person that wrote what was that song?
David something?
No, I forgot. He has a very they have a very specific style of writing, which is basically Total Eclipse of the Heart. It's all coming back to me now. And then that Meatloaf song. I will do anything for love, but I won't do that. I think that's the same crew of people,
writer.
Same person that wrote all those songs.
Oh, dope. Okay. But yeah, so it's stuff like that where it comes to CanCon and whatnot that I'm like, these songs don't count. And that's why when it comes to like the Spice Girls and stuff, had they been Canadian, we probably would have been able to play more of their songs because they were writing their own stuff.
So boo Celine.
No, not boo Celine. Well, not saying that.
I think
don't come for us. Not the day after Saint Jean. We're not going to start booing Celine Dion.
I think same with Whitney Houston. I think but
Mariah Carey wrote a lot of her stuff, for example.
Yeah. She even made a rock band. She made a rock album too.
Mariah Carey?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
You didn't watch.
I don't know why I don't feel like that would go over well.
Well, she kind of had to hide it a bit. It was one of those things where she wrote it. She did the like in the off time, like maybe a little bit earlier on. She kind of hide it from her husband and stuff because obviously there's a lot of control under her. Yeah. And then I think in the end, somebody else was singing it, but the reference tracks were her.
Oh wow, that's kind of cool though.
And it wouldn't even sound like her. Like when you listen to it, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound like her. And I think she mentions it in her autobiography, and then she also mentioned it when she was talking on Questlove's podcast.
Okay. I mean, Mariah Carey is a very talented writer.
Podcast, it's sadly ended,
Oh, he ended it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it ended it this year, sadly. Earlier this year.
Oh, man, that sucks to hear. I didn't know that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully the back catalog is still up.
Back catalog is there since they used to be on, what's it called? What was that other one called?
iHeart?
No, before that. Pandora.
Oh, yeah.
They used to be on Pandora. So all that back catalog is up as well.
The one that I'm really sad that they didn't keep the archive up was the Blacklist. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Blacklist podcast.
Oh, I think you've talked about it a few times.
Yeah, it's a podcast that was they called them films for your ears. Or movies for your ears. They would have like famous actors. So the Blacklist, for those of you who don't know, is a list of films or scripts, I should say, a list of scripts that comes out every year that are ranked by industry professionals that have not been picked up for production, but people suggest or people are saying those are excellent films and should be made into movies. So what they do is there was a guy who was running the blacklists. Josh, could you look up the guy who was running the blacklist site? I'm forgetting his name right now, but he was compiling those and would have people perform. Like he'd get like famous celebrities from LA to do readings, and they would read the script out like a table reading.
No,
and you know, sometimes they would even have sound effects and stuff. Like my favorite one, I think, is called Chrome Noir, which is like a noir film with robots. And that movie, ear movie, I think is what they were calling it, was incredible. It's one of my favorites, and I have it downloaded, but I didn't download a lot of the rest of the stuff, which I really regret, because there's some stuff that was so good. Franklin something, I think, is his name.
I'm not
Franklin Leonard.
I'm not finding. I'm finding the stuff related to the show. Blacklist.
Hold on, Franklin Leonard. I just remembered it. So Franklin Leonard was running the blacklist, and it was great. Anyways, if you guys have a chance, some of the old episodes are available online to find if you look in sources, like look in places, and you can look up Franklin Leonard, the blacklist, ear movies. Really good, really, really fun to listen to. Anyways, we held off as long as we could. I was hoping that Skinny would come through, but y'all, we got to talk about it. The
Heart Made of Iron.
The Heart Made of Iron. Oh, man, is that the title? Shit, no. Too late. I already made a title, so I can't change it now. Because I wrote Neckbeards, Thwarted. People love the Ironheart'ed.
That's it.
Yeah, that's fun. But then I added, but do we? And let's discuss. Do we love this film? This show?
I don't love the film because it does not exist.
Yeah. I messed up. First things first, I wanted to say a big disappointment to Disney for not putting more promo into this.
Yes, that I will give.
Yeah,
I will give that for one simple reason. Just by watching the first 3 episodes, you had so many 10-second sound bites.
Oh my god, yes.
Like, like that. Like, one thing I will give this show, even off of Rip, I want to give it a compliment off of Rip.
Yeah.
Thank you so far.
Yeah.
So far. Because I noticed it a little bit with Daredevil. You couldn't really necessarily see it with Daredevil because of the fact that it's Daredevil, but you did a good job of spreading your budget. It is not Falcon or WandaVision where, it's cool at the beginning and then there's like nothing.
Yeah, you're like saving money.
Yeah, like they saved money.
Bottle episodes after bottle episodes after
exactly.
Bottle
like they did a really good job of like, we saw that you knew you were going to see the suit in the first episode, but you still saw effects and things that are like, okay, you had to spend money on this. It's like you made an action film and actually kept like, something for the whole season as opposed to just like one shot. And where they cost cut it, they did it smartly. Like, example, one point they're transposing her suit, and instead of making the whole suit, you're like, oh, we're just going to show you a leg and there's a blanket draped over it. I'm like, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
those little shortcuts so that you don't have to spend money, but then but she's with the suit. Like, just those little things I think were important, because I found like Falcon Winter Soldier, I think, was like the worst in that regard, because you had such an amazing intro scene of him having that wicked fight in the air and all this stuff, and like the next time you see him in the air is like legit the last scene of the last episode of Winter Soldier, and you're there like all you had to do is move around a Captain America shield and maybe show some wings from time to time, and you couldn't do that. Whereas in the first 3 episodes of Ironheart, you see more than probably any of the other episodes of any other series, with maybe the exception of Loki. But that's only because Loki, it's more the environment had to be filmed a certain way anyways. So like that doesn't count. And you could argue with Daredevil, but it's just that Daredevil, like, yes, you had moments, but those aren't like they're not showing off CGI or whatever. Like him hearing something or feeling something is like, you don't need to enhance what you're filming. Right. Like, you know what I mean?
I started watching these earlier today, early in the morning. The first episode, because I had read the comic book a couple years ago.
Okay.
And I was wondering, I was like, how are you going to, because here's one of the things that I had concerns about. The introduction of the character in the MCU is very different from the introduction of the character in the comic book. And if you wanted to do the show, I was wondering if you were still going to do the same story from the comic book, in which she's like gets kicked out of school, has to build her own armor, all that stuff. And how would you do that in a world where she has already worked with Wakandans and had been to Wakanda and had Wakandan tech Like,
she addresses that very well.
Infinite funding.
And yes, infinite funding. And yes, that was my thing. As I was watching the show, I kept thinking to myself, man, how are you going to explain away the fact that she just had unlimited resources and vibranium? Like, how do you write that out of the story? Because you need to start the story with her at a disadvantage, because that's the point. She can't build a suit like Tony as easily as Tony, because she doesn't have the resources to build a Tony style suit right off the top.
But also in Wakanda Forever, she was sourcing stuff here and there,
right?
A suit, so she was already there, kind of,
right?
And that suit got destroyed, right? And then got to Wakanda for protection, and then she builds her own suit. Like, she builds,
and that's the thing, like, because you took a segment of what she did in the comic books and moved it up to the movie, I kept thinking to myself, well, how do you still address that part if you've already moved it up to the movie? Like, you gave us this segment of her having to source materials and do all this stuff. How do you kind of connect this to the real world of the MCU now?
And then also on top of that, she said she was able to find videos online on how to do stuff. And some people might be like, oh, that's stupid. But also you have to remember there's the Wrecking Crew and the Scavengers from the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Where Vulture's from. So people are already taking stuff and selling it on the black market here and there. And, whatever new thing pops up on Earth, people are scavenging it. So to think that that's not possible. I mean, that's already happening.
And damage control exists, right? In the universe, we've already had that introduction of the the organization that kind of helps clean up, but is also collecting the materials. And
that's
stuff
exactly
like that.
What's happening. That's what's replacing. That's what's causing the problem for Spider-Man 1 with Vulture, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. But I find they did a good job of because at first I was worried in the sense of how are you going to convince me that, because I saw a snidbit at one point. I was avoiding the trailers and stuff a lot. But I did see, I'm like, okay, well, how are you scraping for stuff? And I was like, you were just at Wakanda, all this, but I like how they grounded it very simply. Yes, she did all these things.
Yeah.
Yes, she got funding. Yes, she was given special treatment because she decided to go, because she had all this experience and blah, blah, blah. And she's a genius because it's she's 19 years old or something like that.
Yeah. She's a young adult. Yeah.
Yeah. Because she only started university at 15 or whatnot.
Right.
So they're like, no, she got all the treatment and she decided to play everything by your own rules, and it caught up to you to a certain degree. Because Tony or what's T'Challa's sister's name? Yuri.
Yeah.
They're not going to come and check in on you. Maybe at the beginning, because they're like, oh, you're set up, cool. But these are important people. They're not going to drop everything for a
19-year-old kid from Chicago who's at MIT. Yeah.
You with all that other experience beforehand, that was good enough. If you're not going to keep showing up, then we got to work on our thing. I
thought they did a really, really good job of writing the character. Here's the thing. I joked about Anthony Ramos. I like Anthony Ramos as an actor. When I heard he was playing the Hood, I was kind of like, okay, the Hood is a very specific character. I've read Secret Warriors. I've seen the character in the comic books and all that stuff. He's super interesting. What are they going to do with it? It's good. Anthony Ramos's version of this character is fantastic. This whole idea of how found family and him being really he feels like the type of guy who's really loyal. However, early on, and spoilers, I'm going to maybe put up the spoiler tag now, because I am going to start mentioning something specific that happens in the episode that I don't know if people are going to want to know about. But spoilers, when you have Eric Andre's character, Rampage, who, by the way, for those of you who don't know, Rampage is a character that replaces Microchip with Punisher.
Eventually?
Yeah, he becomes the second kind of guy behind the keyboard.
More.
Yeah. So that's the thing. When they introduced Eric Andre as Rampage, and I was just like, oh, wait, I've heard about this character. And I double checked, and I was just like, okay, yeah, right. Rampage is the man in the chair for Punisher after Microchip. And I was like, oh, wow, are they introducing Eric Andre as Rampage, who's now going to go and work with the Punisher when the Punisher has his new movie, not new, but the special feature
or whatever,
that they're gonna do with him, the 1 hour special, and I got so excited. And then you get to the end of an episode, and when you get to the end of that episode, all of a sudden they're just like,
Gone.
"Yeah, Rampage is dead," and I was like, "God damn!"
But what I thought funny in that moment, it was like that because they're all criminals, right?
Yes.
And they all know each other.
Something that Anthony Ramos has to keep reminding Riri Williams, which I thought was really good because she kept having this energy of like, I'm just doing this for the money to make sure I can build my suits. And Anthony Ramos is kind of like, bitch, we're all criminals.
Yeah.
Like, why are you acting like you're better than us?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to wear a suit to save the world, but you're breaking the law to do it. You're a criminal. Like,
yeah.
But I just thought it funny how like there's like a surprise reaction by what she's doing, but like with the end of the third episode, but like people are having reactions. I'm like, but like, aren't you guys paying attention to the fact that they clearly just murdered Rampage to cover? Like, do you not realize you are all very expendable? This is maybe not the best idea. That was my first reaction.
I was wondering, do you think the other people in the group just don't know that he's dead?
I thought that, but I was like, no, ignorance cannot be bliss in this situation. They are already because they're all smart individuals, especially like the girl who's the fire expert and the
Clown.
And who's
Clown is pretty good.
Who's the one with they always have fancy makeup on? Slug's
Slug
super
and Clown,
smart. So I'm standing there like, there's no way. Maybe the brutes of the force, sure, but
yeah, the blood.
The fact that Riri found out just because she listened to a news report, I'm like, are you telling me that
the cops did show up and start questioning her?
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. But that's why I'm wondering, like,
the cops didn't show up at their houses?
I mean, she was the last number they had. Because that's the thing. That's what I was wondering. Like, when you say ignorance, like you can't use ignorance. I'm like, yeah, but maybe she really didn't know.
So Hood just went around and like, oh, we can't get in touch with Rampage. Oh, yeah, he changed his number. Yeah, he just moved to Seattle.
I thought it was crazy when John said, usually, what's Hood's real name? What's Parker?
Parker.
Usually Parker wants to be here when demotions are
which means
like,
killing them.
Yeah.
Which I was like, Jesus Murphy.
I'm like, so Hood likes to be there for the murders. I was
because
like,
he just murdered Rampage last night. Like, come on. Like,
that's messed up.
Let's be serious here. Like, I was like, that was the one thing I'm like, that's a little.
How did you feel about this? The I guess what Mach 3 or 4 of her suit, because we know she had a suit, then that got destroyed. She built a suit in Wakanda, that got destroyed, or that got taken away. But then there's 3, then 4, right? Because so 3 is the one that we saw at the beginning that she built from the school at MIT,
and then
that she runs away with.
Yeah, and then there's the scraps of that in which she builds left of the remains of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, like again, like I'm just happy.
Ironheart.
There was balance to the force in regards to that stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's hard. Like when they were saying they're doing Ironheart, I'm like, if you do Ironheart where I see only a suit or just a leg every episode until finally she's in the suit, or vice versa. Like,
oh, you really thought they were gonna do that?
All the other MCU shows would lead you to believe that's how it's gonna go down.
I thought they would have pulled it off like an Iron Man 3, like where bits and pieces are coming together, and then she's getting her own style of fighting because it doesn't have the whole complete thing, and when it all comes together and it's like overpowered.
Yeah, I was. You guys aren't wrong. I was a little worried about how much, because again, it felt like they buried this show. Like again, to Disney, you did this show a disservice because after watching the first 3 episodes, I feel like the show deserved a proper promo run. Like I didn't see Anthony Ramos. I didn't see. Let me look up her name.
I didn't see one interview.
Yeah, I didn't.
Or snippet or Instagram 5 seconds, 15 secons.
I didn't see the press run that they usually do, where people are on different like late night shows. And Dominique Dominique Thornton, I didn't see her.
You could see the diversity department really got let go.
Manny Montana, the cousin.
Skinny looking at me.
Okay. Who remembers? Skinny, you might remember this. Do you know what AI Riri uses in the comic book after her first one dies? Because I know. She does have Natalie.
It's Natalie. After Tony's done it, she using Natalie. Yeah.
Okay, so it is Tony first, though.
It's 100% Tony first. That's the whole thing. Okay. It's Tony, holographic Tony, but it's Tony after he gets murked by Captain Marvel during Civil War 2.
Right. Okay, because that's what I was wondering. Because I was wondering. I know they obviously weren't going to give us Tony as the AI. I understood that.
Too expensive.
Yes.
Wait,
Robert Downey. Even if you just got him to do the voice work, like you don't get him.
This is before they announced him as like, hey, we
for sure.
tied him up.
For sure.
And not just that, that would make the Neckbeards even more mad. So I'm kind of really glad they didn't do that, because they would have been like, oh well, bah. So whatever.
I knew that. It's just when we got introduced to Trevor from the school, I was like, oh, maybe she'll figure out how to hack Trevor. I didn't expect them to skip over to Natalie right away. But
it's a stretch. It's a super stretch, and I wasn't expecting the show to do that.
Right.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting Ryan Coogler's cool ass to do that. He plays too cool for school, where he won't do like deliberately corny shit.
Yeah.
And he went deliberately in his corny 90s like reasons for things happening bag. Nigga, brainwaves don't work like that.
Yeah. I love that. So that scene, so for those of you, if you've watched this, you've watched it. If you haven't, again, the spoilers is scrolling across the top, so you know what's up. When she decides that she's going to do the brainwave scanning to create an AI from what I assume is her own mind, which feels kind of weird, but shout outs to that, because they do that in Ultimate Spider-Man when Peter gets his new suit. The voice in his head is his own scan of himself.
Brian, you grew up in a black home. Wendell, you grew up in a black home. Dave,
you know,
so like,
rude.
If you guys were to shut out the power at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, the whole house go.
Yeah,
you need to tell me that your mom's not waking up at any given point and be like, hey.
Yeah.
Come on.
What are you doing in there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Her mom didn't get up for a flinch, nothing.
No.
I like that we had to specify race for this point.
Why did that happen in your household?
You think if I did bad things? Okay, I'm just gonna say this out loud. I understand why you guys sometimes see things of lenience. I've seen the jokes. I've seen the concept of like a person.
Y'all could just swear
saying,
your
like,
parents.
people. Yeah, yes.
Y'all
You
could
are
just-
legit saying it's Chappelle or freaking
That-
Eddie Murphy
that's-
skit right now. I appreciate that. But there's a statute of limitations, my friends, and certain bangs that are universal for I need to leave before I get murdered. All right, I've come home with my mom at the porch because I did something that I didn't realize wrong when I left, and she's coming back and be like, that must have been a nice outing because you're grounded. Like that's happened to me.
That's the last time you're going to be out for a century.
It's a statute of limitations.
He didn't realize he came home. He should have came home with a thick book in his back pocket.
I will say this: I have not seen white mothers have the boomerang effect with their heels. That's the one thing I will give.
That's a classic. Yeah,
there, right?
There's a really funny online video where it's like an African guy, an Indian guy, Hispanic guy, Arab guy, and like they all decide to stand up to their moms, and all the moms join forces like the Power Rangers, and they throw one big like slipper at all of them.
Oh my god!
And why? Because their white friend told them to stand up to their mom.
I gotta say,
that's just called messing with your other friends.
Skinny, can you hit me with some Mandapore knowledge? Because Slug talking so much about like I'm from Mandapore.
She's a Mandapore, like most wanted type of villain / like money launderer or something. But it's big shit in Mandapore, and essentially, convinced to come over because things are bad in Madripoor. So them just casually mentioning Madripoor is like, okay, so Slug may or may not be a mutant.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Is the character a mutant in the comic books?
It's like alluded to, but it's not really mentioned like what their powers would be. But like,
there is a character called Slug. He's on.
He's big,
but that's not. That can't be that person.
It's not based on Ulysses, but whatever lug there, but it could be. I'm pretty sure it is actually the same person. It just completely switched, and
okay,
because that would be very beautiful looking in comparison to what that Slug usually looks like.
Well, that's it. What I looked up online, the version of Slug was like this kind of like the Blob.
Yeah, he's big, he's chunky, he has slugs all over, and I think he also releases them from his body and stuff. Like that's how I was like that Slug. I'm assuming it's an alias for like there might be another uncovering. Like you thought I was Slug, but I am blah blah blah.
Anyways, so what? So let's divide into the. I'm trying to remember where each episode ends. First episode, we get out of the school. We get approached by Cousin John. We get brought in for the first job. We almost get killed in the elevator. and then we get the job because homeboy, the Hood, just goes, "This is your signing bonus," and drops like a stack.
Yeah,
right off rip. How did you guys feel about the tunnel job? The tunnel job was kind of cool. Chicago's opening a tunnel underground like tunnel system.
That's actually episode 2, though. No,
is that episode 2?
Tunnel, yeah, because she gets recruited. Episode 1.
Okay.
Episode 2. At the beginning of episode 2, she goes through the trial of the elevator. Then they do the thing,
yeah.
And then episode 3 is like, you know, the morality check.
This is one of the okay. So not that I want things to be released week to week, but if we only have 6 episodes, I don't know if a 3-episode double drop.
I don't like that. Then I actually don't.
They're trying to get rid of it. That's it. They're trying to.
That's you know, you have a whole summer. Why don't we just enjoy?
Honestly, 6 weeks of this and ending it right at the end of summer would have been perfect.
Yeah, it gives you something to watch on Disney Plus in the summer. What's the problem?
And the thing that sucks is I know if they did that, I'd be complaining the other way because I'd have to wait week to week for the next part. But
that's just because Brian can't make up his mind.
I can't wait. I mean,
but what I will say though is I'm just gonna say it overall. I'm very impressed with how the show's been written. I think the heist was great. I love that the point of the heist was just it wasn't even a heist. It was legit. They stole the person's wallet. That's all they did. It was a holdup.
Yeah.
It was like, we messed up with all your stuff. You have 2 seconds to react. Sign this contract. Peace out. Everything's normal. I'm like, and that's what was fun is because like I could see how Riri's character could take that as like, we didn't do anything wrong. Right. It's not my fault. Someone wants to give us money because they know what we can do. I mean, like that's like. It's almost mob-like, but
can we acknowledge the fact that Parker, the Hood, is out here doing yoga, listening to reports about his own crimes?
100%. He's a psycho. Or the demon or whatever he has going on is the psycho. Because I don't know the Hood at all. I only know this.
Even the cousin walking in and being like, yo, shouldn't you be listening to like some gongs or shit instead of listening to reports about your own criminal activity? And I was like, yo, seriously, I don't know if I'd want to sit back and like do yoga to stories about the people I've kidnapped or murdered. Like,
but speaking of that, what is your guys' feelings about the fact of she letting the cousin just?
Yeah,
because I was waiting for it. It wasn't necessarily intentional, but it definitely wasn't like, oh, I forgot to pick you up. Like, so, it was like you know?
Third episode, we get to this island that this guy has built that has multiple greenhouses. He has detectors for all sorts of metals that if anything was to be brought on, it would trigger a lockdown to protect the plant life. So throughout the whole thing, you keep being told you can't sneak anything in. Riri figures out a way to sneak stuff in by talking to Ezekiel Stain Jr. Obadiah Jr. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know that guy.
That's the spoiler that's gonna get you to turn your head. That one.
Right. Yeah. Ironmonger Jr. is there.
Movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is
you
cool.
Don't hear anybody from ever.
Yeah. It is cool that. So actually, let's talk about that character a little bit. That character is played by homeboy who played Han Solo in the live action.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
Wow. Look how bad of a stain Han Solo did to him. Not only don't we remember it, it took him like 5 years before he got a decent gig.
Damn. He actually had his own TV show after that, but it didn't do well.
Buried.
I stick to my state.
Aiden Enric.
Enric, yeah.
Yeah. So Aiden Enric plays Ezekiel Stain, a.k.a. Jimmy McGillicuddy, I think is the name he's going by.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you first meet him, he's going by Jimmy. Natalie, the AI, finds like that. Oh, there's something weird on the black market where it seems like this guy was collecting all these black market items. You find out later on it's Ezekiel Stain. She gets this kind of like fake bio skin and hides a laser cutter underneath it. She leaves the suit in like stealth mode with Natalie, the AI, running the suit, and she goes and she tries to steal a piece of the Hood's hood because at one point in an episode, Clown breaks into the vault where the Hood is, starts running around with it, and Cousin John smashes her head into a table and takes the hood.
Freaking violent.
Is John not tired of playing his character?
Thank you. Manny
This nigga must be
Montana.
so tired of being typecast.
Manny Montana always plays this character, and
He always beats women.
That was a good call. That was very good. Very good. Wow.
He always beats women. My God, Dave.
Doesn't give a shit.
You didn't even pause when you said it so quick.
To the point.
Strike while it's hot, right?
Damn.
As does he.
I mean, but he really does always play this like low tier level criminal
Who always wears a toque super perfectly.
Yeah.
What's behind a shame? A shame. This guy's game.
The other major show that he was on for a couple seasons that people would probably know him from is Good Girls, which was a TV show that ran from 2018 to 2021 with Christina Hendrickson and May. What's May's last name? The girl Mae Whitman, who was the voice of on Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then Retta, the comedian who used to be on Parks and Recs.
Yes.
So he plays the exact
in Mayans.
He's in Mayans.
Yes. Yeah. But he plays like the exact same character from Good Girls in this, which was hard for me to kind of get past that because I'm watching it and I'm just like, this is the same energy. This is the same guy who's like threatening people.
It's the same character.
Honestly, if you wrote a story and said that character from the other show left the city after and then came here to do this, I'd be like, makes sense.
It would have been cooler if they just did that.
Yeah. Randomly connecting this show to Good Girls and Ironmonger to the original Iron Man film, fantastically hilarious.
However, I do applaud him smashing her head on the table because that is like that is the strongest like. Bitch, is you stupid? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that wasn't a reaction out of like, oh my god, like you're an idiot and I need to almost kill you. It was like like, you know,
yeah. It was so quick.
That's something stupid. You're just like, yo, what are you doing, dog? Like,
essentially, it looked like when someone pushes someo's face into the cake, but there's no cake. There's no cake.
Well, there was cake. The table.
Like, just so fast. Yeah.
Is it a cake or is it a table?
But the best. I was half expecting that thing to engulf her in flames. When she kept putting it on, I'm like, oh, you're dead. You're dead.
I thought something bad was going to happen to her. Too. Like, I thought, like, this flames is exactly because I was like, oh, her thing is fire. She's for sure going to be
in flames.
Because doesn't she say also, oh, this thing is hot, but not like. Yeah. I really thought it was going to do her something. That would have been interesting.
I didn't even think. I thought, again, I don't know anything about the Hood character. So initially, I thought when he was touching the Hood and all that stuff, I'm like, I feel like this is like the evil version of Doctor Strange's cloak. So that's what I thought it was going to like. I thought it was going to like contort around her or have like a reaction to her.
Yes.
As
like
well.
have a mind of its own and be like, hey, I don't know.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Face in the comics, like he does go full like demon.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures.
But one thing, can we acknowledge one thing about that Stain guy?
Yeah.
The fact that he has that super huge Ezekiel, the fact that he has that huge collection, and then Ryu's like, you haven't touched any of it?
Yo,
like what? It's like, what? You're the type of guy who buys the Porsche and leaves it in the garage. What are you doing? That made me laugh.
He's a technology ethicist, which was
something like that.
And I was just like, what? And I guess it's because he feels the sins of his father. He wants to kind of do better.
He's a snitch.
That is what she calls him. That is what she calls him, which was
narc.
Hey, look, there's illegal stuff. They have illegal stuff over there. Look at him.
But I don't understand.
Look at mine. Look at theirs.
Yeah.
When was he collecting this stuff just to have it off the streets?
I don't. That's the thing. That's not really explained, right? He has this. He admits that he has a collection. He admits he wants to collect them.
Yeah.
He admits that he kind of
wants
doesn't want to
use them.
He doesn't say he wants to use them. Does he?
But doesn't he say he wants to create things to help people?
Yeah. Yes, but he doesn't. He doesn't specify that that's related to the collection. He says he wants to do that, right? I mean, I want to help people. I'm buying a nuclear weapon. I don't see how that. I'm not saying that. It doesn't really align with your mantra.
I mean, if that happens, usually, Uncle Sam comes.
You're like,
but in the MCU,
you don't want to be your dad. However,
in the MCU, though, eventually, if the Hood doesn't get defeated in this show,
you better not.
He's gonna have to go up against Doctor Strange. You can't have a character like this and not get him involved with Doctor Strange. That just feels the whole point of Doctor Strange and the Sanctum Sanctorum and the protection of the world from magical beings and demons. How do you have a guy like the Hood who is definitely talking to a demon? Because at the end of the third episode, you see a shadow giving him images of who did what. and the shadow is like a demon head, and I'm like, okay, well, obviously, obviously, Doctor Strange should be a form.
Doctor Strange doesn't really fight any really magic-ish people a lot.
I know.
And he
does more world-ending things than that.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Again, he's a sorcerer supreme. He ain't fighting other sorcerers, and they just kind of like waved off. What's his name? Is it
Dormammu?
No, not Baron.
Barnes. Yeah. Mordo
is what I'm talking about. They kind of. Oh yeah, that's off on the side. Sorry.
Which I don't like.
But didn't he play somebody else in another Marvel movie? Wasn't that nigga in like Blade? No, Morbius. No. Yeah, the guy.
If he was in Morbius,
he's in. He's in Carnage. Let there be Carnage. No. Sorry, the last one.
Yeah, you're talking about Chiwetel.
Yeah, LG4. But no, he was in the last.
But don't forget, the Sony stuff's not connected to the Marvel universe. It's like an alternate reality that we know. And Skinny, they gave us the ultimate out with Loki. He's just a variant. That's what if they needed to.
And also in was it the second Doctor Strange movie, Multiverse of Madness? He's part of the
Illuminati.
Yeah. So that's a different version.
So funny.
But like I would expect it would be cool to bring in like a Brother Voodoo against him at some point.
I mean, they keep talking about the Sorcerer Supreme and Brother Voodoo. I think Brother Voodoo was the Sorcerer Supreme in the comic book the most recently. So it would be interesting. I don't know if they wanted Brother Voodoo is one of those characters that on paper we're all kind of okay with it, but are we going to be okay with that sort of representation on the big screen? I don't think people will.
I think if
they'd have to tame him down a lot.
I think if they lean into the actual like historical, like like Sinners, like how Sinners did it.
Right. Okay. Like the wife, not the wife, but
So she didn't have the face paint.
The spirituality
bones and all that stuff. It was just
he too black for
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
unless they make him like what's the dude from the Princess and the Frog Disney movie.
Oh, I mean that was
friends on the other side.
That's still. I mean that represents. Well, he was Baron Samedi.
Yeah.
Right. Who was a historical
it was
figure.
only when the shadows got over his face did the skull come up on his face and all that kind of stuff.
Baron Samedi though is like a specific historical figure, so I feel like you can't really change that look. But Brother Voodoo is a fictional character who is not from like ancient stories of voodoo. No. It's like just a dude that Marvel is just like, hey, you know what's cool? Voodoo. You know what we should do? Have a guy named Brother Voodoo.
Hey, you know what's cool? Papa Shango from the 90s. Let's do that.
Like Doctor Strange's name. Yeah, Doctor Strange's name would just be like white magic guy by that regard. Brother Voodoo? Like what do you like what? You know what I'm saying? It's wild. It's wild when you think about the naming
convention. Good concept, bad name. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be a good concept, bad name than wicked name, stupid concept.
That show would have to be shot entirely in New Orleans. It would have to be shot like True Blood, and the guy who played
Lafayette?
Yeah, Lafayette would have to be Brother Voodoo.
He passed away, though. He passed away.
He died?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's where I'm out.
I think the way they could do it is like if they ever get that Blade movie off the ground and they finally do like, the supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
And then
what's that team called again?
Oh, I just want to mention Nelson Ellis. So Nelson Ellis was the actor we were talking about. He passed away in 2017.
Damn.
All right.
Yeah, great actor though. Great actor. He played Lafayette Reynolds on True Blood. Anyway, sorry.
Merc, I think it's the Darkstalkers, if I remember right. That's the name of the
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns
or Darkstalkers, something like that.
Yeah.
And you have that whole supernatural thing, and they're building up the supernatural stuff, and then Blade runs into somebody in New Orleans, and this dude's helping him, and he's doing all this stuff. And look at his brother, like he says it as a diss.
Yeah.
His brother Voodoo over here, or something like that. And then he comes back and he's like, "No, my name is this, blah blah blah," and then they just kind of keep it moving.
Brother Voodoo, it is.
I mean, just to wrap up the review for the show, I will hold to the fact that Disney has done the show disservice. I think releasing the episodes the way they're doing, and maybe even give us 3 weeks with 2 episodes a week, but doing 3 episodes over 2 weeks is not okay. What's up, Jaws?
I was just saying, I was looking up the show on IMDb. Oh no, I was looking up Eldrin Elrek on IMDb, and on his page they actually have the cast talking about the show, but specifically from IMDb. It's like they're holding microphones that says IMDb on it.
Yeah,
so that's the only like
the only promo
of the cast talking about it. It's on IMDb.
Rude.
Yeah.
Rude.
Meanwhile, like every other show, Disney, Marvel, Star Wars has been on Hot Ones, has done like every run of social media. They've been on Variety. They've been on all these different, like, what's the one where they tear away the questions and the board and a thing? Like, Anthony Ramos is famous enough for you guys to use him that way. He's probably the best known face out of the cast.
But the outrage is really just promoting the show for them, and they're probably actually letting it go. Like, look at what happened with Spider-Man.
Interesting.
Spider-Man, the next one where they dropped 2 and 3 and then 5 and then 6, and they dropped all the episodes way before because they were trying to get under the radar of all the people shitting on the show, but just above it where the people who are hating on the show would know that it's out and could hate on the like. It's just they're letting the Neckbeards promote the show. You don't want this show so bad? Cool, we'll let you promote it, idiots. By all means. Because I see this. I see you guys may not be seeing on social media. I see it all over Facebook, but all over the Facebook groups that are trying to clickbait rage.
No, but that's it. I left those groups. I used to be on those Facebook groups that I can't anymore.
I can't escape. I literally can't escape. So I'm just there just correcting people.
The Marvel meme one that I used to be on, where they like it just every single week would just turn into constant insults and just like sexist stuff, anti-LGBTQIA stuff, and I was just like, I can't. Like, you know, like I have a cousin who keeps telling me like, you know, it's good to listen to both sides. I'm like, yeah, but I can't listen to both sides when they're not even being reasonable. They're just being racist and bigoted and not giving these things a chance.
Yeah, but they know that now. Like, I'm the ones who are even screaming really loudly and being that racist and bigoted. They know that they're basically resistance is futile. They know. Yeah,
because this show's good. I'm sorry, but like,
also
you can't bury this.
Also, if you could block it or ignore, like press the button to ignore it, and they don't get as much views.
No, I do. I did that.
Or stuff.
But I'm telling you, some of these groups, the whole group is that. Like, if I block every person in the group, the only post I would see is the admin telling people, "Hey, tone it down." Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing I was seeing the most, and I was like, "This isn't normal." Okay, so I just left those groups. But yeah, honestly, if you guys have a chance, definitely check out the first 3 episodes of Ironheart'ed. They're really good. If you listen to this and you've already watched them, take a chance and rewatch some of them, because I think I'm going to. Like, I want to rewatch the second and third episode. The first episode's good, but it's a lot of just like, it's a table setting, and I'm cool, that's fun, and
it's good table setting.
You know, one thing that
Cree Summers in the first episode though, so shout out to her.
Why wasn't Cree Summer her mom? When they don't show Cree Summer and not the mom.
I know. Skinny, I thought the exact same thing when I saw her being like the auntie who's just like ashe and like waving like the like smoke, the burning the stuff around the house, the bad energy,
the sage.
Yeah.
And when they asked her like which crystal is good for negative energy, black obsidian, and I was like, girl, how are you gonna say that like you just had it off rip? Like, you know.
Yeah, that's so Cree. Cree has that energy. She's always been like that. That's
also cool. Real quick, that bothers me, but that's okay. But it still bothers me because the community. But I understand. But it's still like Kugler. Okay, the AI having PTSD. Shut up.
Oh yeah, that was an AI reacting to a gun being pulled on them. I was
that
like,
pissed me off so much.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying.
I was like, are you serious?
I got what they were doing.
They're giving personality and feelings, guys.
Nah. Shut up. You're a black girl from outside Chicago.
No, guys, they are allowed to. They're things, and they're allowed to have feelings.
Dave, I know you're kidding me, but Dave,
am I getting under your skin?
As 2 black teenagers raised in Southside Chicago, a gun is not scaring you. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, she was shot, so I do understand the PTSD.
Well, that's the thing. She wasn't shot. Her friends saw her get shot.
Yeah.
So he's right on that, because technically she has no idea. Because she even says, "I don't remember. I think I closed my eyes."
Yeah.
She does not.
Okay, something to talk about. Something that we should definitely talk about before we end this. It is slightly problematic that the AI knows as much as it does, because the way they did it is that the AI is a creation of her memories of the AI. But it seems like the AI just also knows stuff of its own volition, as if it was
it's also
a reincarnation of the person. And that's the part that I find a little like, I know y'all spent a lot of time together, but I would like to see the AI interact with the brother, because that would be seeing the AI only understand the relationship with the brother from the perspective of Riri.
Quick before I go, who is the AI that helped Homeboy in Quantum Leap?
Oh, so yeah, Sam.
So Natalie's exactly like Sam. If you get that, if you get the relation.
Oh yeah, like
Natalie's exactly like Sam, but just knows slightly too much.
Yes.
So she is Sam in terms of wisecracking and this, that, and that, and you need that.
True,
but in terms of just knowing too much about Riri's past, but then also reacting to a gun, it's just like, you guys, you missed the line.
But
so
I'm thinking the reason it reacted to the gun is because Riri.
Yeah, Riri's scared of guns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of like, so is this AI isn't really Natalie, it's more Riri.
Well,
it's
it's a projection of what Riri wants, right?
There you go.
It's like how the AI is,
but it talks like it knows more, which is the problem.
But here's the thing, like, for example, it makes sense in some context. Example, her speaking to the mom, to me, made sense, because I'm like, you and your best friend for sure hung out a lot in front of your mom.
Yeah.
So you being able to speak to the mom, cool.
Yeah.
But if she speaks like that to like every single person that they knew, no way, because you never hung out like that many times, you know. But on a side note, one thing I did like about the dynamic about the AI thing, I like that the mom did not have the same reaction as her daughter. Like I like that it wasn't everyone
was just
I didn't
happy.
I didn't like that. No, but you know, when sometimes people always have the same reaction, like because they see something new, like whether it's a ghost or in this case the AI. You're like, okay, I like that the mom actually had a moment of like, my daughter's really, really smart. You have to be a computer thing that she created. Hug me because you're the like you're giving me a moment.
Yeah,
and
it was really sad when Dominic Riri comes home.
And ask for the stepdad, right?
For the step Gary, can you build Gary?
That was a trope that I liked. I'm cool with the fact that you made your friend. That's not super big to me. I'm happy you're happy. Please bring my husband back.
Yeah,
I like that, but I also like that the mom wasn't like, oh my god, you're not like, you know, like there was a reasonableness of like, it's not that easy, Mom. Yeah. You have no idea how this happened. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that.
She also even says, I don't know how it happened.
Yeah. So, like, it's...
Because brainwaves don't work like that.
Well, and
they address it in the show, too,
They even say that in the show. Like, was it Slug? No, she asked Ezekiel.
Yeah.
And Ezekiel's just like, yeah, it would turn the person's brain to mush. And she's like, what if it didn't turn the brain to mush? And it's like...
At that point, that guy should have been smart enough to be like, so what did you do?
Yeah.
Like, you know...
What did you do? Shout out to Cree Summer, Canada's own Cree Summer.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, when she walked in the first episode, I felt like a general sense of like, oh, we're good. With this we're good. We got it.
That was too casual of a cameo. Like, guys, you couldn't pay her, right? She was that expensive.
Yeah. True.
All right.
Yeah,
well, they gotta make her a voice. They actually got her as a character. So
yeah. She's on TV.
A Different World was a long time ago.
Yeah, but I mean, who was she in Rugrats?
She's
Susie Carmichael.
Yeah, Susie. That wasn't that long ago. Kids Next Door wasn't that long. You know what I mean? So
Kids Next Door. Love that show.
She's like Tara Strong. Like, it's just a ton.
Yeah, exactly.
Even in video games, she's in there too.
They got Tara over there too, though. She's the voice of
Miss Minutes.
Miss Minutes. That's it.
Yeah, they got her. It's only a matter of time before they get crazy.
And I think they're both friends too. So whenever one person's doing a job, like, hey, yo, you needed a person that does this. Hey, get Tara. Oh, I got a girl. Get Summer.
Guys, we got to sign off. That's the whole show. Anything you guys want to tell the people before we bounce?
I got reviews dropping, so check those out. Keep checking the channel, you know. And Anthony Ramos, man. Yeah, I guess.
I would say he does a good job on the show. He does a good job. You can't hate too much.
No, not yet.
They got him out here.
Oh, he does though.
They got him out here shirtless doing yoga. That was for the ladies. His man's like sweaty, like doing yoga. I was like, this scene is useless. They didn't need to put him doing this.
You got to put fan service for both.
I know. Yeah.
I would say check out Transformer Slag and the Toy Marta podcast with Aaron Archer on YouTube.
Guys, once again, we want to thank everybody that came out on Saturday, last week, to the party. That was a lot of fun. And you know, maybe, like I said, maybe Labor Day weekend, we might be able to try and put something together again. We will see. There's no promises. If we don't Don't get mad at us. We had so much fun. If the one party of the summer we did was the one we just did, I would be happy. But I know people are already asking me when's the next one, so we'll see. We'll talk to Ness. We'll talk to all the people involved, and we'll see what we can do. And maybe fingers crossed we can get sponsors next time because a lot of wild running around, which was fun but nerve wracking a little. So, guys, we are out. Want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. We'll be back with another one soon. Peace, everybody. Have a good one.
Peace.